Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Math with Mr. W. And today, our topic is order of operations. Order of operations. Order of operations. There's an order to our operations. That means there's something we have to do first. So, let's take a look at a problem that you might put on the board. Let's put this one up here just to be for fun for your students. 7 plus 6 divided by 2. And you might do this the first time you put a problem up. And you may not even have this topic up, but you tell the students, I'm going to write the topic up after I give you a problem. And you put down this problem, 7 plus 6 divided by 2, and you ask them, solve. Okay? Give them a couple of minutes and see what they came up with. Now, how many of you, after the question is, how many of you came up with 13 halves? 13 halves. That's a pure fraction. Didn't have to change it to 6½ So 13 halves. And if most of the class's hands come up, then you might ask, not all the class comes up, did anybody get 10? So we have a choice here, 10. Maybe a couple of hands went up for 10. Now, it seems to me that this is a great time for you to say, okay, I've got a couple of choices. But rather than just giving them what the answer is, put another problem down. 10 divided by 2 plus 6 equals. So this is our second problem. And then give them a couple minutes to solve the problem and see what answers they came up with. And see if you have a couple of choices. See if some of the students came up with 11, and some of them may have come up with 10/8, and they reduced that to 5/4. Now, what do we do now? So apparently, over here we have a couple of answers that seem like it's right. I mean, look at this. 7 plus 6 is 13 divided by 2. That seems like the right answer, doesn't it? And then, I mean, we do things left to right. It just seems like the right thing. And 10 divided by 2 is 5, plus 6 is 11. That seems right. Well, in one case, you're right. In one case, you're wrong. What? One case you're right, one case you're wrong. That doesn't make sense. You see, we can't have everybody doing different things, getting different answers for the same problem. So we have to have a decision on how we do things. We have to have an order of what we're going to do. So here's what we've decided. We've decided in mathematics that we do multiplication or division left to right first. So anytime you've got multiplication or division in a problem, that happens first. That happens first. And then after that, we can do the adding or the subtracting or adding in the opposite direction. So we can do that last. Those things happen last, left to right. So again, I have to do multiplication or division first. So let's go back to this particular problem. I'm looking across here, and what do I see? Aha, I saw a division problem. 6 divided by 2. Over here, I've got an addition, but that's got to wait because division comes first. So 3 here, 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then I'm going to add the 7, which makes 10. Hey, so the people who got 10 were correct. Now over here, I have the same operations, but this time I put the division first. Now, it just happens that division has to come before addition. So 5 plus 6 is 11, and this is my answer to my problem. So we have an order of operations when it comes to our 4 operations: adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Your multiplication and or division left to right has to be first. Multiplication and division, and then finally left to right, adding and subtracting. Now, that's just the operations without a couple other goodies. Now, there's a couple other goodies you have to think about that happened before this. And if you've seen this, then your students will understand what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at this problem here. 4 plus 6, parentheses, 8 plus 2 minus 3 times 2. So there's my problem. 4 plus 6 times the quantity 8 plus 2 minus 3 times 2. Well, remember, we've already said that this has to come first before the addition comes. But this is multiplication as well. It's 6 times the quantity. But before that, before these two guys, is there something before these guys? Yes, there is. This is the very first guy is parentheses. So if I can do something inside my parentheses, I do that first. And second is something that we maybe haven't dealt with before, is called exponents. So this we call, say, please excuse my, for multiplication, dear, for division, Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And that's a way of remembering how my order of operations works. But I have to do parentheses first. It supersedes everything. So I look at parentheses and I see, is there something inside that I can do? Well, I can. So I have a 4 plus, and this is 6. Now this becomes a 10. Minus 3 times 2 equals. So now I have to ask, is there an exponent? Is there an exponent? Well, an exponent will be up here. Like you said before, you guys maybe have talked about exponents, maybe you haven't. So let's not talk about them right now. So no exponents. My dear, so we're looking for a multiplication or a division, or it doesn't matter which one. Right here, there's a multiplication right here, 6 times 10. So that becomes a 60, and there's a negative sign here, and this becomes a 6. So I'm going to have to take 6 away from 60. And finally, I have a 4 up in front. So what do I have for my last part of the problem? I have 64 take away 6, which is 58. So again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which is a nice way of remembering how we think about our order of operations. Now, if you're just doing multiplication and division, remember that multiplication or division, left to right, has to come first. before we end up with adding or subtracting left to right. I hope you've enjoyed my little instruction here and my little way of trying to remember how we do this. So, see you next time on Math with Mr. W.